up, y'all? So before I go into the topic of the video, hold on, I'm gonna get you right. Before I go in on the topic of the video, I want to start off by saying Jesus is Lord. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I confess that in prayer, on YouTube, in person. If you know me, if you don't, I truly believe that. So I don't want that to be misconstrued in this video. I don't want that to be misunderstood. So, as you can tell by the topic of the video, religion, I feel, is the biggest scam for your heart and for your soul and spirit that there is. And I say that to say there's so many of them, and we've talked about this before. There's so many of them back when I didn't have a foundation on belief. There's so many of them that you don't know which one is the one if you're new coming into this, or you haven't committed yourself and experienced differently. So you can't know. There's no way for you to know. So with that, we're left to decide, and most people don't care enough to. And then on the other hand, most people don't see the purpose for it. And you have atheists, and I'm not a big fan of that word. You have confusion amongst the people. And it's a guaranteed fact that every one of us, and you watching this video, we're all going to die a physical death. So one of the only things that's certain in life, and I could argue the only thing that is certain in life, is that what I just said is death. So with that, we have to understand that there's so many distractions in life, and there's so many different paths and roads and shiny objects that we sometimes forget that. So, in the shiny object, to me, amongst believers, are the different religious groups and practices. Because if you knew 100% certainty that what you believed in is what's going to get you out of here, you would commit yourself to it. So, as somebody that's grew up and being under the Christian label, we're lazy. And I say we, I'm not singling out one person or the next person, because God wants us to all be one, of one mind, of one spirit. So when I say we, I'm talking about us as a whole. And that could include me, that could not include me, that could include you, that could not include you. If the shoe fits, wear it. But and if it don't fit, don't wear it. But ultimately, whenever you pull yourself in any kind of team sport, it don't matter how much I balled out. If we lost, we lost, because we're a we. All right, we're not an I. It's not about what I did. It's about a team effort. So as a team effort, we are lazy, and we don't pursue what we know to be our salvation like we should. And if we did, I truly believe deep inside me that there would be no confusion. There would be no confusion amongst the people. There would be no confusion amongst the religions. There would be no confusion. The only confusion that you would have is, do I believe in that or not? And if you don't, okay, we give you time. We give you everything that we can to help guide you, or life experiences. But ultimately, we don't make that decision. God does. So God will put that on your heart, and it's up for you to begin seeking. So when you look at the next brother next to you, and I'm not going to shame anybody or anything. It's accountability, and the more that I've experienced and gone into prayer, thought, experiencing, whenever you look at a Muslim, it reflects off of them. They have events to where they commit and submit themselves to what they believe in and how they believe in it. Now, if you know what I know to be true, there's no certain amount of good acts, and there's no certain amount of bad acts that can get you in heaven or out of heaven. So you can't do enough wrong, and you can't do enough right to keep you one way or the other. And that's truly where the politics begin at. And that's why you have people that don't commit to anything, that just say, man, well, this could be true, that could be true, that could be true. That's you. So it just could keep going, and then you could say, man, ain't none of this stuff real. Y'all all are caught up in being indoctrinated by the politics, by all these said different religions. You're being wherever you ended up first, wherever you were indoctrinated at first, is why you believe what you believe. That's what a lot of people and a lot of experiences I've had, people will tell me. And you really can't argue. You really can't argue that unless you've experienced different. Unless you've heard God speak to you. Unless you've experienced Jesus in your life. You You can't. But then on the other hand, we as people, we can't look at you and tell you that what you believe in is wrong, right? We can't look at you and say what you've experienced you didn't experience, just like you can't look at me and say what I experienced didn't happen, because I'm gonna say you lying to me, it did happen because I experienced it. So that's what we run into. And whenever you see this amongst churches, whenever you see this amongst the people, that's why you have these different ideologies and these different belief systems. Is because we are scared, in my humble opinion, we are scared as a whole to come together. Because there's a level of uncertainty in everybody. That's just the God's honest truth. There's a level of uncertainty amongst every one of us. If we're truthful with ourselves in our darkest moments, there's a level of uncertainty. And His grace is sufficient. It is enough for your uncertainties, for the things that you have trouble believing in. As long as we keep the main thing the main thing. Somebody wants to be right, and somebody don't want to be wrong. That's the truth. So it's all about division. It's all about you're wrong and I'm right. But if we loved each other, as God tells us to love each other, we would all want to be united. And we would all want to be right as a whole. Now, I'm not going to dive into much of nothing else or different topics, but that's the world as a whole. And that kind of stems my belief system. It's because everybody wants to be right. But if everybody's wrong, it's a scary thing, because that includes you. When I say everybody, we're all wrong. And we don't want that. So you have these different factors and these different ideologies and different things that keep you able to separate what fits you in your life. Because if we all committed under one heart and one mind and one spirit and one belief, and we followed what really matters, the whole world would change, right? It would have to change, and I truly believe that that's unachievable. And if you know who we fight, what we fight, who the enemy is, you know why that is unachievable. But on the same side, I'll say nothing's unachievable when you have God. So I see a lot of these things people say make heaven crowded. I see that a lot, and it sounds good. And I've sat down and I've had these conversations with different religions. I've had this with different religious leaders, and can't nobody answer that for me. What they want to tell you is not really what they tell you, because if we're all brothers and sisters under the Lord's eyes, we should be doing everything we can be doing to make sure that our brothers and sisters make it to where we're so excited to go, because their salvation matters. I believe a lot of people are stingy with their salvation. I believe a lot of people run around and they spill falseness to suit and fit them in what it is that they want to believe. Are they right? Are they wrong? I'm not the ultimate the gatekeeper. I'm not the judgment. I'm none of that. I'm just like you. So I'm just here with you. So I wish, well, I believe through the grace of God that we can figure this out. But it's going to take something, and I don't know what that something is, to captivate the minds into uniting, because we should all come together. The biggest religious leaders in the world, the people, me and you and Catholics, Pentecostals, Muslims, Mormons, you can go on. We need to have that discussion, and people may say, well, the discussion's already been had before. Well, look at the trajectory of where we're going, and you say we're heading for disaster. Yeah, we're heading for disaster, and I'm not saying that everybody is, but to me, and this is one thing that separates and divides right down the middle in my heart, is that I can't overlook a brother or a sister and say, well, I'm going to heaven, and they're not. They're going to burn for eternity, and man, I hope that their heart changes. And you know how hard it is to just exist in this world? You know how hard it is to sit and be a part of some of the things that you see and hear? You know how hard it is to be lied to? You know how hard it is to just living is hard. So you can't just ignore the fact that, man, some people ain't gonna make it. And there's a distinct difference between choosing to not make it and being confused and not making it. Huge difference to me. There's a huge difference in believing in something that's wrong serving something that's wrong, praying to something that's wrong, and not believing, praying, and serving anything by choice because you don't believe nothing. Right? Huge, huge difference there. So whenever you see people that are doing something that may be wrong, they've been taught this. Right? The same way I've been taught what I've been taught. They think I've been taught wrong. So we got to make sure, and maybe someday there's a time where we can sit and all have an honest conversation. All of us. And that'd be the day. That would be the day. And I want to say this too. When we come together for the Lord, and we come together with our brothers and our sisters, husbands, parents, wives, all these people, and we unite, what can stop us? Nothing. Nothing can. So that, I believe, in the power of prayer so much so that I have sit in the church and I have felt the presence of God inside the room of a church with 40, 50 people in it. Right? Imagine if we was all on one accord, serving the one true God. Imagine what we could experience. Imagine what we could unlock. Imagine what we could do as a unit. Imagine the people we could captivate their minds. We could, the non-believers, if we all united under one mind and one soul and one spirit, one love for each other, one love for the Lord, we change the world. We would change the world. And it's crazy to sit. It's crazy to sit and think about, because there's only so much one person can do. But one thing be for certain, something's got to be done, because we're being led further and further astray. It's getting harder and harder to be a part of anything, and a lot of the politics that come with it, especially my generation. We're not hearing it. We're hearing TikTok, and we're hearing YouTube, and we're hearing sex, and we're hearing racism, we're hearing LGBT. We're hearing all these different things that keep us attached to what goes on here. And with that being true, that keeps us centered in what truly doesn't matter. We're hearing a lot of things now, and we're being kept a lot of information now that you almost can't blame somebody for feeling like how they feel or believing what they believe. You just love them, and I'm gonna tell you, that's our fault. That's religious leaders' fault. That's your church's fault. That's anybody's churches that goes to church. That's y'all's fault. And I truly believe that 100% because we came into this world not knowing nothing. Every one of us, even the 70-year-old man you know, come in this world knowing nothing. We've been taught these things, and then whenever we see that this is all wrong, so you care that much and you believe that much, but we can't all sit around in a meeting and say, well, let's, you know what, instead of my 50, 60 people, or instead of my 500, 600 people, we can't sit around and truly make a change. You're satisfied with the ones that you feel comfortable with sitting around and talking to, or going somewhere else that ain't nobody ever heard nothing. They've never heard anything, and you go share with them. I mean, you're satisfied with that? What about the people that's out here that serve and do things and they're wrong? What about the people that run around here and don't believe in anything and have heard everything and just say, man, screw it all? What about these people? So we can't pick and choose who we try for. And if we do pick and choose who we try for, we cannot call ourselves true lovers of the Lord. Because the Lord died for each and every one of us, right? He died for me, he died for you, he died for the brother that don't believe, the sister that don't believe, the little kids walking, everything you see, everybody you meet, Hitler, any of these people that we don't see like that. He died for each and every one of these people. And if we know that to be true, we single people out and we single groups out and don't even sit. And if we can't sit and have a conversation about this, but we can sit and have conversations on Democrat, Republican, we can sit and have conversations on gay, not gay, we can sit and have conversations on everything else in the world, gang banging, non-gang banging, we can sit and do all these things and sit around and talk about systematic this and non-systematic this, and we can talk about Kanye, and we can talk about all these different people, but we can't sit down and talk about our salvation. We can't find the time to sit with a group of people and say, listen, somewhere around we've all separated from each other. But let me tell you something. There's no such thing as 15 gods. There's no such thing as 17 different ways to get to heaven. It ain't no such thing. None. It's one way. And if you know that it's one way, and they think there's 17 ways, or he thinks there's one way and there's actually 17 ways, then we ain't doing nothing or serving nothing to its full capacity and capability. We ain't. And you know it. It really hurts your soul when you sit and you think about it. you sit and you hear this, and I don't know what you think watching the video, you know, but we truly got to do something. I'm gonna put a link to my Instagram in this description, and feel free to send me a message and talk to me about anything to do with this. Feel absolutely free, because somebody's got to say it, and somebody's got to do something, because you sit around and you ignore this, and you see so many people that do. So many people. So with that being said, I love each person that watched this video. I thank y'all. Let me know what you think. I'm probably gonna put this on every one of my platforms. So if it made it to the platform, comment, leave something, say something, share something. I love y'all.